opportunity to speak this evening.
Could you make sure the microphone is good?
As stated, my name is Greg Roy, and I'm a farmers market vendor and small businessman. I'm here to propose that the vendors be allowed to have the permit issued directly to the nonprofit corporation that we have initiated and started to form. The permit was originally issued to the Downtown Partnership because it was a nonprofit organization that offered to provide bookkeeping for the farmers market in exchange for an annual sum of $13,200. I'd like to make the council aware of the fact that the vendors, led by a vendor-elected board, have successfully ran the market for the past 31 months. Furthermore, without any input from the DTP, the vendors have grown the market, attendance, revenues, and advertising budget threefold in that same period of time. I believe those of you who have attended the market during that time period will agree with me that the market has never looked better or been more successful. Our market is made up of one of the most diverse, successful, and educated group of entrepreneurs that could exist in any organization. We have vendors from every race, ethnicity, gender, and religion. Our market has at least 2 vendors with MDs, 2 with PhDs, several MBAs, and a huge number of bachelor's degrees. Additionally, we have licensed CPAs, contractors, nurserymen, aquaculturists, and engineers, just to name a few of the other talents. Furthermore, and perhaps most telling of our talented group, I'd like to point out the fact that we have 55 successful small businesses. I feel that our ability to run the market is beyond question. Frankly, this group of talented individuals is quite capable of running any organization, public or private, in the USA. To further enhance our resume and to show our coordinating, we've already formed a state-recognized nonprofit. We're working with a local nonprofit attorney to complete our filing with the IRS. We've also completed a business plan and a budget that you've already received copies of. In addition to this, we've solicited for bids on additional services that we'll need, such as legal, bookkeeping, payroll, and CPA work. Finally, you've received the list of and a letter from other vendor-run markets. Our goals, activities, and actions are in line with what is considered to be best management practices for farmers markets in the USA. We'd like the Commission to understand that our reason for all this preparation to become a vendor-run market is our desire to make the market even more vibrant and exciting and successful than we've already made it. No one cares more about the market's success than the people who rely on its success for their very livelihood. Our vendor-elected board is made up entirely of volunteers and has spent the last 31 months growing the market into the success story that it now is. When we began, we had a budget of negative $3,000 and an advertising budget of $0. Through excellent communication with other vendors and the networking, hard negotiating, and smart strategies, we've been able to increase revenues to nearly $90,000. Furthermore, our advertising budget is over $33,000 right now. These numbers are all in the budget that we've submitted, and we'd like the Commission to understand that we intend to increase advertising not just for the sake of the market, although it is our primary function, but to enhance the greater downtown Sarasota itself. Large attendance means more business for everyone. We firmly believe that as an autonomous entity, we can streamline operations and improve our advertising budget to ultimately improve not just the market, but also downtown Sarasota and its merchants. It's our intention to join and network with the various organizations that already exist in the downtown area. We'd like to do all that we can to improve the community. And speaking of the community, I'd like to point out that the market, under the guidance of the existing advisory board, has been able to help several nonprofit organizations. You may be aware that every Saturday we fill a van full of food to donate to the local Salvation Army. We recently had a charitable event working with local restaurants that raised over $1,600 for the Autism Society. And I could continue this list past my allotted speaking time, but suffice it to say that we intend to continue our charitable ways to enhance the community to the best of our abilities. Our efforts involving these other organizations are strictly benevolent. We may use these opportunities to network and ultimately help ourselves to grow, but we have no political agenda. We feel that politics are best left to politicians. One of our reasons for becoming self-governing is that we don't have to allow a parent organization or an individual person to make the market into their personal campaigning stage. I was elected by and represent the unified voice of the farmers market. As you may be aware, there was an article that was published on our proposal, and we did poll the entire market. It was brought into question, but recently, last Saturday, we conducted it again, and out of the 37 vendors who were present, 36 of them signed the petition again. There were 18 missing vendors at that date. We know that if you'll advance this cause to your next public agenda, that you'll hear not only nearly 100% support of the vendors, but of the general public, our customers who want to see the market become even better than it already has been. To conclude, I'd like to summarize our position. One, the vendors have the greatest stake in the success of the market. Two, the vendors possess more than adequate skills necessary to not only run but to improve the market. Three, our goal is to improve not only the market but also the greater downtown Sarasota area by working with the various merchants and organizations that are currently operating in this area. Four, we have no political agenda. Five, we are simply continuing to do what we've already started and what's considered best management practices for similar markets. In conclusion, I'd like to thank you for your time. I'm furnishing all of you with copies of this statement in the event that I was unclear on anything. We hope that you'll help us to make the market an even bigger success than we've already made it.
Thank you, Mr. Roy. Mr. Kirshner, would you like to say anything?
I think it's pretty self-explanatory, and as Mr. Roy said, the last time we heard this, I think, was shortly after you and I, Mayor Clapp, were sworn into office, and when they actually created the self-governing body that managed the market. And probably in one of our worst and most difficult economies we've seen since the bust of the 20s, they've been able to do what they've done in growing revenues, growing attendance, growing vendors, etc. So I'd like to see this brought back to us in an agenda item. I know there's some folks in the community that do not think that this is the wisest route to pursue, and I think we should hear that. But I think when you have such an asset, when you have near unanimity from our vendors, then we should have the discussion, and I'd like to see it move forward, and we empower these individuals to keep doing the great work that they're doing.
Thank you. Consensus, put this on a future agenda item? Yep. Yeah.
Everybody's speaking who wants to
Yeah.
speak. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you again.
The next item we have is public input. Do we have any people signed up?
No, sir.
No one signed up. Okay, then we'll move on to public hearings, and our first public hearing concerns a request for an Edward Bird